Hello artists and welcome to day 119 of the epic journey. I'm DaleneFM and today we're going to be looking at the various different types of contour drawing. Now I will admit to having stalled on this particular tutorial because contour drawing is not my strong suit at all. I guess like everything else, practice is needed, but let's get on with the tutorial. So we're going to have a look at each type of contour drawing on its own. The first one, of course, is straight contour drawing, and this is not the one that's my weak point. This is probably the type of drawing that most artists are introduced to right at the beginning, so we're all very familiar with it. But to be clear, contour drawing is simply drawing the contours of your subject, the outlines of it, as well as the major landmarks in linear format. There's nothing more to it, it's just line drawing. Cross contour drawing is where my weakness really shows. Cross contour drawing is drawing, you obviously first start off with the drawing of your subject in a contour fashion, and then you start drawing lines as if almost like the lines of latitude and longitude on the earth. So you'll start drawing your lines around the curvature of the subject that you're drawing. Curvature, of course, if it's curved surfaces, and straight lines, of course, if it's flat surfaces. But you're drawing lines around the surface of your subject. Now you can do them either vertically, horizontally, diagonally, or a combination of all of them. But all of the lines will follow the shape of the surface of your subject. Another form of cross contour drawing is when you pretend almost that your subject is transparent. So you're going to be drawing the lines around the front surface of your subject as well as the back surface of your subject. So in the case of this apple, we're almost drawing like cross sections. You'll see I've got little arrows pointing here and there to show almost that you would be drawing a cross section as if you were slicing through the object, and the line of the slice, both the back as well as the front, will be drawn. Please excuse the rain on the roof. I think it's probably going to interfere a little bit with the sound. But now all of this contour drawing can culminate in actually using contours in a hatching fashion, much like we did with our straight hatching, to actually describe the surface and add in the values to your drawing. And that's what I'm doing down the bottom right hand side, is a little demonstration on cross contour hatching. On the bottom left hand side, what I'm doing there is I'm actually covering my drawing with my hand. What I would normally do if I was doing this in the studio is I would actually turn my back to my drawing, but this is called blind contour drawing, and I do this actually quite often and it's quite a lot of fun. But I do it as an exercise to engage my right brain thinking, to get myself into the drawing mode sometimes if I'm struggling. That is its main use, but there are a lot of artists that actually specialize in blind contour drawing, and with a lot of practice you can actually draw really nice drawings without even looking at your drawing itself, just by keeping your eye on your subject. So blind contour drawing is drawing without looking at your contours at all. So I'm going to do a little bit of a drawing now where I draw my apple a little bit more carefully than what I've been doing until now. And I'm going to actually start adding in the values using the cross hatching or the cross contour hatching method. Now, like I said, this is not my strong suit, so I'm sure artists that use this far more frequently than I do will do a far better job. But you start doing your hatching in a method that follows the curvature of your apple. Now, I started off the apple on the left hand side, they're doing my hatching in a 45-degree sort of angle to the curvature. Like I said, you can do it diagonally, but you can do it in any direction that really suits the subject that you're drawing. In some areas of this drawing, like now in the middle of the apple, I'm actually doing horizontal and vertical hatching following the curvature of the apple, but on the sides of the apple I'm doing it more on a 45-degree sort of angle to the apple. And I just keep building up the values in exactly the same way as we did with the cross hatching. Slowly but surely the apple gets darker and darker, the lines get heavier and heavier. There's a combination of lines going in different directions. But what I like about hatching with cross contours, what I admire so much in artists that really do it well, is it becomes incredibly beautifully descriptive of the surface of your subject. A little bit further on in the drawing I start drawing little arrows to show the curvature, but you can see there at the top where the apple dips into the stalk how the lines that you're drawing, as well as the value that it's creating, is also creating the curvature of the apple as well. So all the different cross contour drawings that I spoke about in the first part of the video, those are all drawing methods that an artist would usually use for practice purposes. They are to help you to get your mind thinking around the surface of your subject. And a drawing like this, when you're actually drawing with cross contour hatching, is when all that practice really comes into its own, because automatically your mind is flowing across the surface of your subject and your lines will follow suit. Now that little area that I've circled there on the top, showing that dip going in, and there goes the arrow showing the dip of the apple going into where the stalk is growing out of. The other side as well, dip going in. And then of course we've got the horizontal roundness of the apple coming towards us, that is also very descriptive because of the hatching lines, as well as the vertical roundness of the surface. Now the apple that I've drawn is full of round curves, but when I start to draw the shadow underneath the apple, the assumption is that the apple is sitting on a flat surface, so it is now no longer going to be cross contour hatching, but it is our straight cross hatching that we did in the previous tutorial. And that is because the surface is flat, so there is no curvature to this particular area that I'm shading in now, that I'm putting value in. If you were drawing an item that was a combination of round surfaces and flat surfaces, then you would obviously use a combination of cross contour hatching and straight cross hatching. Well, that's it for day 119 in our cross contour drawing and cross contour hatching tutorial. I hope that you have great fun doing it, and please don't forget to post me the images of what you're doing. It'll be great to see the progress in this area. I'm pretty darn sure you'll do a better job than I have. Artists, thank you so much again for joining me in day 119. I will see you tomorrow in day 120. Oh gosh, this epic journey is really going so strong. Thank you so much for everything that you guys do, all your sharing and your commenting. Keep it going, keep the sharing going, and I'll see you tomorrow. Thank you so much. Bye. That's what you want to do.